Picture this. You land with a 90-minute window to take a call that will decide whether you hire a key engineer, and your pulse ox reads 93%. You feel fine, but your head is foggy. You push through, you sign off, and later realize the error margins in that call cost you tens of thousands because the cabin and the rental quietly robbed you of decision-grade cognition. Welcome to Nomad Life Success, episode 142. I'm Aria Reyes. Today we run a compact, evidence-driven pulmonary reset you can execute on a plane and in the first hours after landing, so you can be decision-ready within one work cycle of arrival.
Right. That vignette nails it. People blame jet lag when the driver is often subtle hypoxia or retained CO2. You don't always feel dramatic symptoms, but the numbers tell a different story.
Exactly. In 9 minutes, you'll get a 3-step protocol, the exact metrics to log, SpO2, a CO2 proxy, HRV, and a travel kit checklist you can actually carry, plus one operational mistake that wipes out every breathing drill. Quick physiology, so the protocol makes sense. 2 mechanisms to watch. First, at typical cabin altitudes, inspired oxygen fraction is lower than at sea level. Second, in cramped, poorly ventilated spaces, inhaled CO2 can rise and remain elevated.
Right, and that combination matters clinically. Small SpO2 drops and modest CO2 retention change reaction time and working memory in measurable ways.
To put numbers on it, SpO2 above 96% is a healthy baseline for most. Between 92 and 95% is mild hypoxia, time to act. Below 90% is a red flag and needs medical assessment. For CO2, we usually use indoor CO2 as a proxy. Sustained room CO2 above about 1,000 ppm correlates with cognitive decline. HRV will typically drop with acute respiratory stress. Watch for a greater than 10% fall from your baseline.
Got it. Those thresholds let you move from feeling to objective decision-making. Okay, so what do we do practically?
3 practical moves: a short in-flight ventilation sequence, an immediate post-landing breathing reset, and a 2-hour recovery anchor that restores decision-grade focus. Every 60-90 minutes on flights over 3 hours, a 3-minute nasal set, 4-second nasal inhale, 6-second diaphragmatic exhale, target out 6 breaths per minute. If your SpO2 dips below 95%, add a 90-second block of seated deep diaphragmatic breaths, and stand in the aisle when it's safe to increase ventilation and perfusion. Log SpO2 before takeoff, mid-flight, and 30 minutes before descent.
Small practical note. Check with the crew before using any device or doing extended breathing sets in the aisle. Pulse oximeters are typically allowed, but anything that resembles an oxygen delivery system needs prior approval.
Good point. And for devices, call the airline medical desk at least 72 hours before departure and get confirmation in writing if you plan to travel with an oxygen concentrator or any supplemental oxygen equipment. Next, immediate post-landing reset. Within 20 to 60 minutes after you exit, run a 5-minute respiratory primer. 3 cycles of the 6 BPM nasal breathing, with a 10-second breath hold after a full exhale on one of the cycles. The goal is to normalize alveolar exchange and rebalance CO2 versus oxygen.
I want friction here. Don't present portable oxygen mimetics casually. If listeners have cardiopulmonary disease, they must consult a physician and get airline sign-off before considering any oxygen device.
Absolutely. Let me be explicit. Consult your physician before using supplemental oxygen or any device that increases inspired oxygen. If you have chronic lung or heart disease, do not attempt this protocol without medical clearance. For most healthy travelers, breathing primers plus movement and airflow are sufficient. Final move, the 2-hour recovery anchor that buys back decision-grade focus. First 20 minutes, bright light exposure, ideally sunlight outside, or a 10,000 lux light pad if you travel with one. If you don't carry a lamp, sit by bright outdoor light for 20 minutes. Then, a low glycemic protein snack. 25 to 30 grams of protein with minimal fast carbs to stabilize glucose. Next 20 minutes, diaphragmatic pacing, 5 cycles at 6 breaths per minute with emphasis on long exhalations. Finish with a 20-minute low-effort working memory task, like structured note-taking or a pre-brief for your call.
Log through that 2-hour window. Target SpO2 recovery to at least 96% if you started below 95%. If you brought a small indoor CO2 meter, aim for workspace CO2 under 800 ppm. Watch HRV. If it doesn't trend back toward baseline, that's objective evidence your autonomic system hasn't stabilized, and you should avoid high-stakes decisions.
Here's the single operational mistake that ruins everything: grabbing a large coffee and chasing alertness before you stabilize respiration. Caffeine masks low SpO2 and low HRV, producing the illusion of readiness, while cognitive accuracy remains impaired. If you use caffeine, keep it to a 50 milligram microdose at the end of the 2-hour anchor, not before.
Curious, quick infrastructure checklist. What do you actually pack for this to be reliable?
Baseline kit: a clip pulse oximeter, a compact CO2 ppm meter, a small 10,000 lux light pad or plan to access outdoor light, measured protein sachets, and a lightweight travel pillow that supports an open chest for diaphragmatic breathing. Put them in one pouch so you deploy within 20 minutes of landing.
And paperwork for medical oxygen. We can't overstate that. If you need a travel medical oxygen concentrator, start the airline paperwork early. Structure first, freedom second. Get written confirmation.
Data logging is simple and valuable. Take SpO2 before flight, mid-flight, pre-descent, at exit, and at 60 and 120 minutes post-landing. Note perceived focus on a 1 to 10 scale and record HRV if available. Track the deltas, SpO2 delta and HRV percent change, and you'll stop guessing about what works. Okay, quick tactical recap so you can act tonight. On the plane, every 60 to 90 minutes, do a 3-minute nasal set, 4 in, 6 out. After landing, run the 5-minute respiratory primer within 20-60 minutes. Then the 2-hour anchor, 20 minutes light, protein snack, 20 minutes diaphragmatic pacing, 20-minute low-effort cognitive task. Log SpO2 at 0, 60, and 120 minutes.
Make the kit and the log SOP. If you travel with devices, call the airline medical desk 72 hours before departure and get confirmation in writing. That avoids last-minute scrambles that break your routine.
That is your high-performance blueprint for today. Try the 2-hour recovery anchor after your next flight. Log those metrics and iterate. Build a portable foundation at shop.nomadlifesuccess.com. Treat your biology like your business infrastructure.